There we go. We are live. Lighting is super dark. That is okay. All right, guys. So today we're going to dive into SEO 101. So really like the basics of what you need to do to start getting your SEO going. And I'm just going to go into 4 principles. If you see me looking down, I just kind of broke it down into 4 main points for you guys that I want to dive into. And so before we even dive into that, like one thing to consider is what is the, time constraints I have on this and what percentage do I want to spend on this activity in terms of where I am in my business right now. So I'll briefly explain this and then I'll dive into the strategy. So I was just on a call with a client and they were like, I just don't know how much time to allocate to what because I'm wearing so many hats at the same time right now. And so that's a very, very common issue. And so one of the biggest things through all of this, as you guys are doing this, is just kind of like thinking of, well, what do I need to do in terms of the immediate next step to move the needle forward inside of my business, okay? And sometimes that might be 30% working on SEO and content, 30% working on lead generation and bringing in clients. And maybe you're at a time in your business where sales are pouring you to work on that. Maybe you're in a time in business where you want to build partnerships. So whatever the priorities are, just making sure you're really separating tasks in relation to what those are. And just like a really quick tip with that, as we start going through more content and there's like more things that stack up for you guys, is break your calendar up into like 3 or 4 colors based on the percentage of priority that you give something. So let's say SEO and content optimization is 30% of what you do, and let's say the color is yellow. Make sure on your weekly calendar that it's reflecting 30% of your daily allocation to working on your business, and that in and of itself will help you get a little bit organized as to, okay, right now I'm working on this color means this, and then just really being able to say, I am following along with the percentage allocation that I initially dedicated to this, instead of feeling like you're falling off a little bit or not knowing what to do next or what's the most important thing. And whenever you get lost, you just go back to that reference and see, even just based on like visually the colors, if that's what's reflecting on your calendar. So just a quick tip there. So let's dive into SEO. I'm going to break it down into 4 main points. And if there's any questions throughout, I'll try to answer those as well. If not, I can always answer them after. So the first thing is getting in directories, right? I'm going to go into like the most cheapest or freest ways to do things because you don't necessarily need to be paying for SEO when you first start off. I personally never recommend that. I don't think that's the best allocation of resources that you have right now. And there's really good ways to being able to get some SEO without that yet, right? So first thing is getting into directories. So that's going to be things like Google, things like Yelp, like things like, even if you've looked, like influencer.co, certain directories that have and place higher in terms of SEO, kind of like the examples that I just gave you guys. Other things could be like, let me get a business LinkedIn profile. Let me get a business Facebook profile, right? And attach your name or your business to it, depending on if you're branding as a personal brand or if you're branding as a business. One recommendation I do make, and I had a business intensive with another client yesterday, and sorry guys, I fall off sometimes just because I think it might be relevant for you guys, is he had his business completely disconnected from him as a person, and that's totally okay if that's something that, you're 100% set on that you want to do. But in the beginning phases of building your company, it is important to have some level of personalized factor. So if you haven't noticed already, what you'll notice, and with this client, he noticed right away, is as soon as he made the transition from like business is business, personal is personal, and since business is him right now, he's like the solopreneur, which is like many of you guys that are starting out, the issue became that he lost a lot of engagement, right? Because there's no level of connection to the brand, and because the brand is not well known yet, people aren't going to immediately know, like, and trust, so there needs to be a level of connection factor, right? So you can always have, lights going out, you can always have a business page, but like connecting that to your personal page so people can see who you are, what you're about, what your characteristics are, how you talk, your mannerisms, all that kind of stuff. Like just right now, me being online here, you guys can see like, this is Sarah, this is how she talks, here's what she knows about, here's what she doesn't, whatever it might be. and then you decide if that's something that's of interest or not of interest. And it's the exact same thing that you want, right? Is you want someone to build that know, like, and trust factor based on who you are, what you're about, what you teach, what you like, what you don't like, all of those things. And that's what's called personality marketing, okay? So first thing, get yourself into free directories, as many as you can, right? Start looking up directories, get your business in there, get yourself in there. Typically, they'll ask for like a short description of your business. You put that in there. Biggest thing is with Google, wait like 2 weeks, right? Because things don't process right away. It takes time for Google to do that. So after you do that, give it 2-3 weeks, and then you can go take a look and see which ones from the directories actually showed up when you type in your name or when you type in your name alongside your business name. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, again, free. So what you can do is you can download free SEO plugins, and there's tons of them. Like, there's tons of them. So, for example, with a WordPress website, that's what I use. There's tons and tons of plugins. All of them are free. Of course, they're going to have like the upgrade options and stuff like that. But even with the free version, you can get all sorts of information. So they'll tell you, here's the keywords that are good in your niche. If you want to write a blog, let's say you would put in whatever you want, maybe put in nutrition, and it'll give you all of the keywords around nutrition that you can use that are important to be able to use to get good SEO. So it gives you a lot of information, and it will help you, like, hey, this blog isn't optimized, change X and Y. It would be better if you start using this word more in these kinds of posts. And it will direct you for free exactly what you need to do in terms of starting to boost your SEO, and just getting something as like simple as like 1 or 2 of those plugins and constantly being able to monitor the back end will substantially improve and increase your SEO in and of itself, as long as you are being consistent. Guys, with everything, like whether it's SEO, whether it's content, branding, whatever it might be, the most important thing is just you gotta be consistent in what you're doing, because that part is really, really important, okay? So the third thing is going to be long tail keywords. So I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but like, for example, and I actually just pulled up like a whole list of examples around nutrition, fitness, and stuff like that. I'm going to read them off to you guys in a second. But let's say if a keyword is nutrition, what are the longer tail phrases, that's why they're called long tail, around the word nutrition? And there's a good number of ways to find this, right? So one way would be browsing Q&As like Quora or Reddit and that kind of stuff, and see what people are asking about, see what people's struggles are, right? Another thing is going to be like Google Suggest. So let's say if you're putting in nutrition, it'll show on the bottom tab like all of the things that people ask in regard to nutrition, right? And the last one is like going down all the way to Google related searches. So let's say you put nutrition, you scroll to the bottom of Google, and you'll see suggested searches, and it'll give you like 10 or 12, whatever, a good number of long tail keywords that would be directly related to that. And then third thing, guys, like just use ChatGPT too, right? Like I think I've had a lot of clients who will be like, I don't know what to write for copy, I don't know what to do this. Doesn't mean copy and paste ChatGPT, but use it as a source, use it as a resource, use it as a way to help you alongside brainstorming, alongside ideas, things that you can take and then switch and then tweak, and all of that stuff is going to be really, really important in what you're doing, okay? And so the third one is I'm going to give you guys some examples that I actually literally just pulled up from ChatGPT based on, I think I put in, let me just double check. I think I put in weight loss as the, I said, give me long tail keywords around weight loss, and then you can double check that with Google. So I see all sorts of things like healthy weight loss meal plans for beginners, best exercises for rapid weight loss at home, how to lose weight naturally without dieting, low carb versus low fat diets for sustainable weight loss, intermittent fasting benefits and weight loss results, effective weight loss supplements for women over 40, and the list goes on and on and on and on, right? And literally what I did, guys, was before this live, I just looked up on ChatGPT immediate examples of how to do that, and then boom, I had it gave me a list of 20, right? And then you can cross-check with Google, you can cross-check with Q&As. Like, ChatGPT also lies, it's actually really funny, and if you like correct it, it'll say, oh, like, I'm sorry, X and Y and Z. So just don't always take its word, and cross-check with other resources, but always use it as a tool, okay? It will really make things a lot easier, okay? And then the fourth one that I'm going to dive into is just contributions and backlinks, right? So what does that mean? Backlinks is like one of the biggest things with SEO, is having tons of links through differing sources and resources. And the best way to do that, like, think of things that you may have found or still to this day find from lists, from blogs, from articles people have written, from references people make on social media, right? These are all ways to build backlinks. And this is why I said at the beginning when I was talking about your time and like making sure you're choosing the right things based on the time allocation that you can make and commitment at this time. It's going to be like with something like this, understanding that things like this will take a little bit longer, but it's definitely worth it. You can do one article at a time. So what happens is with backlinks is you can acquire with editors to get on their lists, or you can ask to write articles for them, or you can find backlinks through tools, which I haven't done this one in a while, but there are tools that will find backlinks that are actually broken. And what you do is you go on the editor who is going to publish that post or article, whatever it might be, and you say, hey, I found this backlink. It seems like this backlink is broken. I have this other resource. You put in whatever your resource is that is directly related to that, and then you ask for the contribution instead. Because that link has already been broken. You just pointed that out to them, and then you gave them a value piece, and that works really well as well. But it just comes down to reaching out to editors, having a very enticing headline for whatever it is that you want to talk about that's related to your topic, and then reaching out with that specific topic and a few lines of whatever you want to talk about and what's that about and what that's about. And you can do the exact same thing, and this is going to feed into your SEO as well, with podcasts, right? So articles, podcasts, same thing. The more you can get your name out there on differing people's platforms and resources, the better. And I'll go over literally how I do this. I'm doing about 10 podcasts in the next couple of months here, and this is exactly what I use to do this. So I go on FeedSpot. So the resource is feedspot.com. You find the podcasts that are related to your industry. It has a search tab that you can find all of that. You find the podcasts that are related to your industry. You send them a direct message. Typically, I'll send them a message on LinkedIn, and I'll say something like, hey, whatever their first name is, and I'll say, just wanted to see if you're looking for podcast guests, ? And then I'll pitch the thing that I want to talk about in 1 to 2 sentences. Please don't make it super long. They're not going to want to read it. Like, I'll see like inbound coming in and people writing me essays. I delete it right away, right? Really quick, get to the point of what you can talk about that will immediately contribute to their podcast, and then see if that's something they're interested in. And again, remember this, and this will be the last one, and then I'll end the live, is volume. Right? Not every single person is going to say yes, but if you reach out to about 50 and you get anywhere between 2 to 5 podcasts booked, that's a good thing, right? And that will dramatically increase and up your SEO as well. Okay? So I'm going to review everything, end the live. If there's any questions, you guys can ask me, and I think if you guys do want to work together or book a one-on-one call to see it's a fit, I think Araceli put a link inside of the chat before. So let's go over the 4 things. So first one is getting on directories, right? Things like influencer.co, Yelp, Google. There's tons of other ones that people don't know about. Second one is going to be download free SEO plugins and take their advice, use their resources, and then be consistent with content in regards to whatever they say you need to use for SEO keywords. Third thing is finding long tail keywords using resources like Google search tab, going to the very, very bottom and looking at related searches, and then things like ChatGPT. You saw I put something really simple in there. I got 20 results, and then cross-check because we know ChatGPT lies. And then the fourth one is contributions and backlinks. This one takes a little bit longer. You do have to reach out to editors. You do have to reach out to podcast hosts. But it is actually relatively simple as long as you reach out with a very strong, this is the most important part, a strong and enticing topic. Your likelihood of response substantially increases, and that's going to substantially up your SEO, and none of these cost a dime, right? And that's the best part about all of this. So guys, if there's any questions after this, just let me know. I'll try to answer it for you, and hopefully this was helpful for everyone. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.